My name is Lieutenant Dan Marley, and I'm with the Troy Fire Department, and welcome to our very first TFD vlog. We are excited to be launching this new YouTube channel. It will give you a behind-the-scenes look of all things Troy Fire. We'll have videos on fire station tours, truck tours, even give you a look into some of the trainings and the runs that we go on. An important part will be the library of fire safety videos, showing you plenty of ways to stay safe at home. For those of you who may not already be familiar with the Troy Fire Department, I'll give you a little bit of our background. The fire department was formed in 1940 as a volunteer department. We now provide fire protection services for the 34 square miles and 85,000 residents that make up the city of Troy, Michigan. We operate out of 6 fire stations. We have a training center that we share with our police department and an administrative office at City Hall. Many of our residents are surprised when they learn we are a combination style department. That means we have a mix of volunteer firefighters and career firefighters. The majority of our firefighters are volunteer firefighters. We are all state certified by the state of Michigan and are highly trained through our training program. Our volunteer firefighting force is up to 180 members. This is the largest volunteer firefighting force in the state of Michigan. Our administrative staff is made up of 11 members, and we provide the administrative functions for the fire department, such as firefighter training, community risk reduction, fire inspections, equipment acquisition and maintenance, and hazardous materials reporting, as well as many other administrative functions. During these videos, we want to spotlight some of the runs that happened over the past month. Now let's take a look at the runs from July. Do you remember how hot and dry it was at the beginning of July? This creates a unique work environment for all firefighters. With the dry conditions, we responded to a number of grass and brush fires throughout the city. With the hot conditions, it makes an already stressful job much more difficult. We take extra precautions during those heat waves to make sure our firefighters are staying hydrated and staying safe. While we were very busy during that time, we are happy to report that we did not have any firefighter injuries related to the heat. Many of our residents may not realize that we have a small airport on the south side of our city. We provide fire protection services for that airport. And on July 2nd, right before 5 p.m., Station 3 and Rescue 4 were dispatched to a report of a plane crash on the runway. While en route, we had updated information that all the occupants of the plane made it out safely. We continued to the scene to investigate and make sure that there were no other hazards. When we arrived, we found out that the plane did a wheels-up landing. It was having mechanical problems that the pilot was not aware of. While there were no injuries and no fires, we did locate a fuel spill coming from the plane, and we had to help mitigate that hazard. The next run I want to talk about was a residential structure fire that occurred on July 7th. Just before 1 a.m., Stations 1, 4, and Air Tender 3 were dispatched to the report of a fire on Star. The occupant of the home was alerted by a smoke alarm and was able to exit the home safely and call 911. The fire was in an attached garage and had been burning some time before the smoke made it into the home. When firefighters arrived, as you can see by this picture, the garage was fully involved. We were able to quickly extinguish this fire and keep most of the damage to the garage area of the home. We are thankful that that resident had a working smoke alarm that was able to wake them up and allow them time to exit the home safely. This is a good reminder that you should test your smoke alarms in your home at least once a month. The next day, on July 8th, around 5:15 p.m., firefighters were dispatched to another structure fire. This time it was Station 5, Station 2, Rescue 4, and Air Tender 3. This occupant was also alerted to a smoke alarm in the home that there was a fire, allowing them time to exit the home and call 911. When firefighters arrived, we discovered that the fire was in the basement. This is one of the most dangerous and difficult fires that firefighters can come across. That is due to all the smoke and superheated gas using the stairway as a chimney, the same stairway we need to go down to put the fire out. It also makes it very difficult to ventilate the structure, removing the smoke. Luckily, our firefighters were able to get inside quickly, find the fire, and extinguish it, leaving most of the fire damage in the basement. Due to several renovations that happened to the home over time and several additions, it was very difficult for us to make sure that the fire did not spread to other portions of the home. We had to do extensive overhaul to make sure that all the pockets of fire were extinguished. Again, luckily this occupant had working smoke alarms and was able to exit the home safely prior to our arrival. The next run we were going to discuss was a very active scene, and it was kind of a unique run, so we thought it would be a good one to talk about. Station 4 was dispatched to the report of downed power lines on a semi-truck. When they arrived, they discovered that not only was there lines down on the truck, but there was also some arcing in the wires that created a grass fire nearby. So we had to not only make sure it was safe for the driver to exit the truck, but we also had to address the ground fire and the downed wires. While we couldn't apply water directly to the wires, we had to protect the exposures, the other things around that fire that could burn. So we deployed a hand line and went down the area, containing the fire to its original space. Once DTE arrived and turned all the power off, we were able to completely extinguish the fire. We remained on scene until the truck was removed from the wires and turned the scene over to DTE. This is a good time to remind you that if you ever come across a downed power line in your yard or in your neighborhood, then you should never approach it. Even if it looks like it might not be charged anymore, there still could be electricity flowing to it. If you find one, stay at least 25 feet away from the line and anything that the line could be touching, and call 911. Recently, Station 1 was dispatched to a vehicle fire on northbound I-75. While the vehicle fire itself creates a unique set of hazards for firefighters, this one being on the freeway creates another layer of difficulty that firefighters have to manage. Luckily, our police department assists us with traffic control, but we still have to protect the firefighters while they're working. They were able to quickly arrive on scene, even though it was in the construction zone, and apply water to the fire, extinguishing it. When firefighters are working on scenes, we often use our vehicles to assist with traffic control and create a safe environment for firefighters to work in. Station 3 was on an early morning run for downed wires on Maple Lawn. Ladder 3 was parked in the right lane of Maple Lawn with all of its emergency lights activated. At that point, a distracted driver rear-ended the truck. As you can see by these pictures, it caused significant damage to the truck and to the vehicle. Fortunately, there was not any major injuries sustained during this crash, but we want to use it as a teaching tool to remind you if you see a fire truck, a police car, an ambulance, or a tow truck on the side of the road with their lights activated, you need to slow down and move over a lane, giving them plenty of room to work. Responding to calls is surprisingly hazardous for firefighters. So we want to remind you also that if you ever see a fire truck, a police car, or an ambulance with activated lights and the sirens going, responding to a call, you need to pull over to the right lane and stop completely until the vehicle passes. This will make it much safer not only for you, but for all the responders going to the emergency scene. Training is another large task that we do here in the Troy Fire Department. Each Monday night, stations on the north side of the city train for 3 hours, and on Tuesday nights, the stations in the south end of the city also train for 3 hours. In addition to these weekly trainings, station officers have additional trainings that we go to at least once a month. This month we focused on relay pumping. Relay pumping is not something that we often have to use in this city, but it's definitely something we need to be up to date on. And that would be a situation where fire hydrants are not readily available, or maybe we have an incident on I-75 where we have a long stretch that we would need to do. So in this situation, we were able to recreate that and actually laid out over 2,000 feet of 5-inch supply line and had pumpers at certain intervals where they can charge the water and send it to the next truck. It's a very involved process. We were able to focus on not only the pumping, but the communications, the startup and shutdown of this process. So it was very educational for all of our officers to attend this month, and we're definitely prepared if we need this operation. This was a review of just a few of the things that kept us busy during the month of July. I hope you enjoyed the behind-the-scenes look of some of the day-to-day operations of the fire department. As we grow this channel, please provide us with some feedback on how we are doing and the types of videos that you would like to watch. And help us out, and please subscribe to the channel.